With the detection of 16 new cases, the number of infected people resulting from the Minuwangoda COVID-19 cluster rose to 1,044 last night.
අපි මේ අවස්ථාව වන විට රෝගීන්ගේ ආශ්‍රිතයින් අතර PCR පරීක්ෂණ කරමින් පවතිනවා. මේ යන ප්‍රවණතාවයත් එක්ක අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා විශාල රෝගීන් ප්‍රමාණයක් වාර්තා නොවේ කියලා. ඒ ඉතාමත්ම සාධනීය කාරණයක්. නමුත් තවමත් අපි ආසාදනය වීමේ අවදානමට ගොදුරු වෙච්ච අය තවමත් අපි හඳුනා ගනිමින් පවතින්නේ. ඒ නිසා ඔවුන් සමහර විට ගම්පහ දිස්ත්‍රික්කෙන් බාහිරවත් සිටින්න පුළුවන්, විශේෂයෙන්ම කොළඹ නගරය තුලත් සිටින්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා අපි නිතරම හිතන්න ඕන අපේ මේ සමාජයේ මේ COVID-19 අපි නොදැනුවත්වම තියෙනවායි කියලා.
Meanwhile, steps were taken to temporarily shut down the Minuwangoda Police station after the police cafeteria operator tested positive for COVID-19. According to health authorities, he had contracted the virus from his son, who is an infected employee of the Brandix apparel factory in Minuwangoda. This resulted in the quarantine of all officers attached to the Minuwangoda Police station and the transferring of the station's duties to the Gampaha Police station. In the meantime, reports confirmed last night that an employee of the Minuwangoda Brandix factory residing in Vimalpura, Hanguranketha, has tested positive. The factory worker who returned home to Hanguranketha on the 4th after being granted leave was transported to the infectious diseases hospital last night. Our correspondent said that 20 of the patient's close associates, including a police officer attached to the Hanguranketha police station, have been directed to the Rantembe quarantine facility. Meanwhile, the latest positive patients from the Minuwangoda COVID-19 cluster were hospitalized today. They are residents of Minuwangoda, Opatha, Appugewatta, Horampella, Dematagodalla and Mahagama. In another development, a 28-year-old expectant mother residing in Mirigama tested positive for the virus while receiving treatment at the Castle Street Hospital for Women. She was transferred to the Colombo East-based hospital for further treatment. The family members of the patient residing in Madinagoda Rajagiriya as well as residents of neighbouring houses were also placed in quarantine today. Meanwhile, biological samples of a group of people, including the patient's husband, were collected for PCR testing. Elsewhere in Yakahatuwa, Minuwangoda, a group of Brandix factory employees and their family members were seen gathering by the roadside after notice was issued by area health officials for their transportation to quarantine facilities. The residents have accused the area PHIs of causing them great inconvenience through their failure in performing their duties effectively.
දෙගොල්ල මෙතනට එල කොච්චර වෙලාද?
දැන් පැයකට වැඩි වගේනේ.
දැන් ඒතර කවුරු කතා වෙන්නේ නැද්ද?
ඊට ඒ කෙනෙක් කතා වෙන්නේ පොලිස් මහතුරු තමයි අපිට මෙතන ඉන්න කිව්වේ.
අපිට බයයි අපි කඩයක් තියෙනවා AC දාලා ෆෝන් කඩයක්. මේ ගාමන්ට් එකේ කට්ටිය නිතරම එනවා මේ ෆෝන් ගන්න හදන්න ඒව කරන්න. කිසිම කට්ටියක් ආයෙවත් නැහැ බලන්න. ඊටම මේ මිනිස්සුන්ට කන්න බොන්නත් නැහැ.
Further, youth among the group was confirmed COVID-19 positive and informed of the diagnosis by a public health inspector via telephone.
දැන් මොකද මෙතන කරන්නේ?
අපිට එන්න කියලා කිව්වා 10 වෙද්දි මේ නිරෝධාන මධ්‍යස්ථානයකට දාන්න. අපිට 10ට එන්න කියලා දැන් 11යි කාලයි. ඒ වෙනකුණුත් තාම නැහැ. මේ අපිත් එක්ක හිටපු එක්කෙනාට මේ දැන් කෝල් එකක් ආවා පොසිටිව් කියලා. එයා පාර දිගේ ඇවිදන් ගියා. කිසිම වැඩපිළිවෙලක් නැහැ.
ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ පොසිටිව් වෙච්ච කෙනා කොහෙද හිටියේ?
එයා මේ අපි මෙතන ඉඳන් හිටියේ අපි එද්දි.
Meanwhile, PCR tests of 500 associates of factory employees were conducted at the Diulapitiya Public Stadium today. In addition, after 5 out of 7 employees of the Minuwangoda factory who attended a funeral in Miriswatta Gampaha tested positive, all other attendees at the funeral were subjected to PCR tests. Elsewhere in Bambalapitiya, the International College for Business and Technology, also known as ICBT, was shut down due to a student being infected with the virus. The student's mother, who has also tested positive for the virus, is an employee of the Minuwangoda apparel factory. According to health authorities, associates of the duo have been identified and placed in quarantine. Meanwhile, the school that the daughter of the first identified patient of the Minuwangoda cluster attended was given a thorough disinfection today. In other developments, the Dadimunda Devalaya in Alutnuwara was closed to the public after 4 devotees were identified as COVID-19 carriers. Meanwhile, the curfew imposed in 18 police areas in the Gampaha district continues to be in place. The police say that so far 80 persons have been arrested for curfew violations and 19 vehicles have been seized. What's more, Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva says it is likely that Sri Lanka could find community transmissions within the next 7 days as infected Minuwangoda cluster patients continue to be detected across the country.
ලංකාවේ විවිධ දිස්ත්‍රික්කවල එක් පුද්ගලයෙක් හෝ පුද්ගලයන් දෙදෙනෙකු පමණ උපරිමය හමු වුණා. ඔවුන් යම්කිසි ආකාරයකින් සමාජයේ අනිත් පුද්ගලයන් එක්කට ගැටලා තිබ්බනම් ඊළඟ දින 7 වගේ කාල පරාසය තුල අපිට දැක ගන්න හම්බ වෙයි සමාජයෙන් එක්කෙනෙක් දෙන්නෙක් හරි එහෙමනම් කොවිඩ් ආසාදිතයන් හමු වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකින්ද ඔබ ලංකාවේ මොන ප්‍රදේශයක ජීවත් වුණත් ඔබට අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කටයුතු කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. ඔබ කොවිඩ් ආසාදනය නොවි සිටීමටත් වෙනත් පුද්ගලයෙක්ට කොවිඩ් පතුරන්නේ නැති වෙන්නත් වග බලා ගන්න ඕනේ. මොකද මේ තත්ත්වයක් තියෙනවා. යම්කිසි අවධානමක් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම තිබෙනවා.
Meanwhile, the army commander requested employees of the factory or their associates who are yet to report to health authorities to contact 011 345 6548 and register themselves. The army chief added that information on employees or their associates who are in hiding can also be reported via the same phone number. The Government Medical Officers Association in the meantime have cautioned that if the Minuwangoda cluster continues to grow, hospitals in the country will not have sufficient space to treat the influx of patients. In such a backdrop, a building located in Rambukkana owned by Brandek was converted into a COVID-19 treatment centre. The centre is equipped with 300 beds and will be operated by the Sri Lanka Army.